You ever get that feeling that traditional retirement is just way too slow? Or maybe that starting a business from scratch is just way too risky? And let's be honest, extreme savings sounds, well, kind of miserable, right? If any of that sounds familiar, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to dive into the why behind a fourth path, one that was literally engineered to find the balance.
So welcome back. In this special bonus explainer, we're really tackling the big question. Why was this whole system even created? What's the origin story? We're going to explore the engineering logic that underpins the entire Golden Path strategy.
All right, let's just get right to it. Why does this specific path even exist? I mean, we're swimming in a sea of financial advice out there. Isn't the standard stuff good enough? What's the point of another way? A middle way?
Okay, so to really get the system, you have to understand the architect. It all starts with him. The originator of this 3-stage, 13-step strategy is Tamir Kaham. Now, he's the creator of the YouTube channel, The Golden Path to Financial Independence. But what's really interesting is that he's also the official Hebrew translator of The Richest Man in Babylon. And it's that unique blend, that mix of modern systems engineering with this ancient, timeless financial wisdom that really forms the DNA of this entire strategy.
So who is this deep dive really for? Well, we're kind of talking to two groups of people here. First, those of you who've already gone through the 13 steps and you're curious about the deeper philosophy behind it. And second, those of you who are just seeing this for the first time, asking yourself, hey, is this the right vehicle for me? Stick around, because by the end of this, you'll know exactly where this strategy fits in the whole world of financial advice.
All right, let's put on our engineer's hat for a minute. To really understand why this path was built, we have to look at it like a feasibility study. Basically, an analysis of the 3 big financial paths that most of us run into.
Now, this is a really crucial point before we go any further. This is not a critique. We're not here to say that other methods, like the FIRE movement or traditional retirement, are wrong. Not at all. In fact, the creator gives them full credit for his own financial awakening. But here's the thing. While those ideas opened his eyes, when he tried to actually wear them, they just didn't fit. And that's what this is all about, finding the right fit.
So let's get into the specifics of the case study. This whole journey started when he was 45 years old. He was a senior systems engineer, a salaried employee with a family. Look, he wasn't some college kid with nothing to lose, right? The stakes were incredibly high. So this wasn't some theoretical exercise. It was a personal feasibility study on the options he had right in front of him.
So, path number 1, the slow track. This is your traditional retirement plan. You know the drill. Work until you're 67 and then rely on your pension or 401k. Well, from an engineering standpoint, this system has some serious flaws. It's fragile. You have almost no control. You're basically betting that these external systems will still be around insolvent decades from now. There's a lack of velocity and really a lack of legacy. You're just a passenger, not the driver, just hoping the bus gets you where you need to go.
Okay, let's swing to the complete opposite extreme. Path number 2, the fast track of entrepreneurship. This is that quit your job, build a startup dream. And hey, it's a respectable path, but it takes a certain kind of DNA, right? You need a high tolerance for chaos, a love for risk, and you have to thrive in total uncertainty. For an engineer who really valued stability, the idea of risking his family's security on something with a 90% chance of failure, well, it just wasn't a fit. And that brings us to the third option he looked at, the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early. Now, you can see why this appeals to an engineer, right? It's basically a math problem. But the fatal flaw, at least for him, was the human cost. The math totally works, but the lifestyle of what he calls compression, living on a tiny fraction of your income for 10, 15 years, it just felt unsustainable. That psychological toll of depriving yourself for so long, it just wasn't worth the price.
So, you see the dilemma here, right? Each path had a fatal flaw. The slow track, too fragile. The fast track, way too risky. And the FIRE track, honestly, just too miserable. So what was needed was a fourth option, a middle way.
And here's the solution. Since that balanced path he was looking for didn't really exist, he engineered it himself. The Golden Path is a hybrid. It's designed to take the stability you get from your job and combine it with the growth you get from owning assets. The whole point is to maintain your quality of life now while you systematically build the system for the future.
Now, there's a really critical distinction we have to make here, one that's at the core of this whole system. Financial independence is not the same thing as wealth. Financial independence is a technical state. It's when your passive income covers your expenses. That's it. That's the first totally achievable goal. Wealth, on the other hand, is about accumulating way more than you need, and that's something that can come after you've already locked in your independence.
To really make this path work, it requires a huge identity shift. You have to go from thinking like an employee
to thinking like an asset owner. Your job's purpose completely changes. It's no longer just a job, it becomes the engine, the fuel source for buying income-producing assets.
So why is it called the Golden Path? Well, the name has 3 really intentional layers. First, gold represents stability. It's an anchor, not a speculation. Second, it's a nod to Aristotle's golden mean, that idea of a balanced middle path between extremes. And third, it's a tribute to the ancient wisdom found in books like The Richest Man in Babylon. Think of it like this. It's modern engineering running on ancient software.
You know, any good system needs guardrails to keep you on the road. The Golden Path has 4 core principles. 1, independence comes before wealth. 2, stability comes before growth. 3, you build the systems before you try to scale. And number 4, and this one's huge, you balance your quality of life now with freedom later. It's basically the anti-deprivation principle built right in.
Okay, so we've got the philosophy down. Now, let's get practical. How do you know if this path is actually the right fit for you? Let's run through a quick checklist. This path is for you if you're a salaried employee, you're patient, we're talking a 10 to 20-year horizon, and you want to build real intergenerational wealth. Now, it's probably not for you if you're trying to retire next year, if you're okay with living on 30% of your income like in the FIRE movement, or if you just love high-risk ventures. Remember, it's not about which path is better, it's about which path is yours.
So can you just pick and choose from the 13 steps? The answer is a hard no. You absolutely cannot treat this like a buffet. The whole point is that it's a system built on dependencies. Skipping the foundation in stage 1, that's like trying to build a house without a blueprint. Skipping the resilience of stage 2 is like building a skyscraper on sand. Anytime you skip a step, you're just introducing fragility into a system that was designed for stability.
So what does all this really mean? It means that engineering mindset is everywhere in this strategy. This is not a collection of tips and tricks. It is architecture, a complete, fully integrated system where every single piece has a purpose and a place in the sequence.
Okay, before we wrap up, we have to hit pause for a very important disclaimer. This content is strictly educational. It is not personalized financial advice. There are no guarantees of results. You are responsible for your own decisions and for consulting qualified professionals. So, let's bring it all together. What are the key takeaways? The Golden Path is a middle way, built to sit between the extremes. It was engineered specifically for the salaried employee who wants to make that transition to becoming an asset owner, but without the extreme risk or the extreme deprivation. And at the end of the day, it's not about what's better, it's about what fits.
If this has you curious and you want to learn more, there are a couple of great resources. For the full Deep Dive series, just search Deep Dive Golden Path wherever you listen. And I highly, highly recommend checking out the YouTube channel, The Golden Path to Financial Independence. Seeing the visual diagrams there really helps bring this whole strategy to life.
We really hope this gives you the context you need to decide if this is the architecture you've been looking for. Because the right path isn't always the most popular one. It's the one that's actually built for you.